You got dressed this morning without thinking about it. It is one of the most human things you do. No other animal on Earth wears clothes. And yet there are no fossils of the first shirt, no museum case holding the first pair of trousers. Cloth rots, fur rots. Animal skin crumbles to nothing in a few thousand years. So how could we ever know when humans first started wearing clothes? The answer is going to sound like a joke. We asked the lice. Stay with me, because this is one of the cleverest detective stories in all of science. You have head lice. Or rather, humans as a species have head lice. Insects perfectly evolved to grip the hairs on your scalp. They have lived on our heads for as long as there have been heads to live on. But there is a second kind. Body lice. And body lice do not actually live on your body. They live in your clothes. They cling to fabric, lay their eggs in seams, and only crawl onto the skin to feed. They are built for a world of clothing. Their whole existence depends on it, which means body lice could not have existed before clothing existed. There was nowhere for them to live. So a clothing louse is a tiny living fossil. The moment humans started wrapping themselves in animal skins, they created a brand new habitat, a warm, dark world of fabric against skin, and a population of head lice moved in, adapted, and slowly became a separate species. Find the birthday of the body louse, and you find the birthday of clothing. In 2011, a scientist named David Reed did exactly that. His team sequenced the DNA of human lice and used a kind of molecular clock. Genes mutate at a roughly steady rate, so by counting the genetic differences between head lice and body lice, you can estimate how long ago the two split apart. The answer came back. Body lice diverged from head lice around 170,000 years ago. That is when clothing was born, and the date is not random. It lands just before one of the great turning points in our history, the moment modern humans began spreading out of Africa into colder lands. Clothing may have been the technology that let us leave, but here is where it gets strange. Because humans lost their body hair around 1 million years ago. Read that again. We have been mostly naked apes for roughly 1 million years. We only invented clothing around 170,000 years ago. That leaves an enormous gap. Hundreds of thousands of years where our ancestors had no fur to keep them warm and no clothes either. How did they survive? Bare-skinned, through cold nights and ice age winters? The honest answer is that for most of that time they stayed in warm places, huddled together, and kept close to fire. They did not need clothing in the African heat. Skin that could sweat freely was actually an advantage for running and hunting under the sun. Clothing only became essential when humans walked into climates that could kill an unprotected body in a night. And clothing did something else, something we rarely think about. It turned the human body into a portable habitat. A person in furs carries their own warm microclimate with them. Suddenly, there was nowhere on Earth too cold to walk into. The Arctic, the mountains, the frozen north. A naked ape conquered the planet by inventing a second skin it could take on and off. So think about the louse again. It is, in a sense, keeping a record we never meant to leave. We did not write down the invention of clothing. We did not draw it on a cave wall. But a parasite quietly logged the date in its own DNA, and 170,000 years later, we learned to read it. The first time a human pulled a hide over their shoulders against the cold, they thought they were just getting warm. They had no idea they were creating a new world, a world the lice would inherit, and a clue that would, one day, tell us exactly who we are. Now you know.